Bat family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit holybatcast.com or find us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you will find us. If you love the show, you want to help support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. As always, a big old bat hug to all our patrons. You guys are amazing, but we have a new one, so we got to say hello to Cody, our latest patron. Hi, Cody. Welcome to the family. Thank you for being kind and generous and supportive. All those are wonderful traits, and so obviously, you're a good dude. So Cody, thank you for that, and again, thank you to everybody who has done that. You don't have to, and it does mean the world to us that you do. So thank you for it. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. If you're looking for other shows to enjoy, you can check those out at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit of news. We're going to answer some emails, and we got a little bit of housekeeping items to talk about first. But to join me for all of that, he was able to break away from his brand new little bundle of joy for just an hour to talk to me. It's Brendan. Hey, Brendan.
How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. Congratulations. I mean, I told you privately, but you know, on the record, on the air, congrats to you and Jess, and happy birthday to Jess.
Yeah, it is Jess's birthday. Thank you. I have heard your initial reactions to the birth of my son on the episode that was released that week.
Oh, good.
Which did make us laugh quite a lot while we were still in hospital listening to that. I haven't listened to the whole episode because I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch Catwoman and listen along, and I don't know that movie well enough to just listen to the commentary. So I'll have to sync that up at some point when I get a chance. But no, like you said, you needed just a quick episode tonight, and I was able to spare an hour while sort of Henry's at that stage of kind of needs a feed, but he's also like just kind of a bit restful at the moment as well. So timing has worked out well.
He was very chill. I got to meet Henry via Skype, and he was just hanging, nice and low key. It was good.
He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool dude. Can fart like nobody's business,
just like his daddy.
Yeah, like his mummy and daddy.
Oh.
And yesterday we had our first poo explosion, so that was fun.
Wow.
All up his front, not his back. All up his front.
Amazing. I mean, at least when he does it, it's adorable. When I do it, I have a problem.
You need to see a doctor.
Oh.
So what would be like the correct term for, to sort of bring it back to Batman? Would you say he's a chip off the old Shrek?
Yeah, sure.
Something to that effect?
After his poop explosion, he was like, "Dad, save yourself."
He really sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger and not like me at all.
Good. Anyway, yes. Thank you for finding the time. And again, yeah, congrats to you guys. Henry is adorable. But a few little items I wanted to address before we get into talking about more Batman. The first thing is that there is a new episode out there ready to go. Well, not ready to go. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is I recorded something last week, something really cool, something I was really excited about. And there were dreaded technical difficulties. And I'm so mad, but so what I've been doing is I've been taking my time trying to salvage it through editing, and I think I will be able to. I think it will be okay. It won't be perfect, but it will be good enough, and I don't want to lose the episode, so I am willing to put in the work to try and make it happen. So for all you guys out there listening, there's been a gap between episodes. That's why. There was one recorded, and it is taking a lot of time and work to try and fix it, but it will be coming your way. And so I'm telling you this so you know why there's been a gap, so when it is released, you'll be a little more forgiving if there are some issues with it, because, again, I'm able to cut around most of it, but some of it I won't be able to. But mostly, to quote Lucius Fox in Batman Begins, I just want you to know how hard it is.
You're still talking about the episode, right?
Well, yeah, that too. So, so anyway, it will be coming your way once I get it finally all fixed. But thank you for your patience on that. And then the other thing is just going to require more patience because, as I've said on recent episodes, I'm down to, oh my God, 3.5 weeks left in China. So,
wow.
Yeah, getting really close. Like 3 weeks from today is my last day of work when we're recording this. And then I'll be here for a few more days before I fly out. Got my flights booked, ready to go back home. The reason I share that, though, is because my schedule is going to be even crazier than normal over the next few weeks because of that. Work, I'm working a lot, long hours, weird hours, to try and finish as much as I can before I leave. And then at the same time, trying to pack up my life, get it back to the States. Anyway, point is, I'm going to be very busy. And so there might be some more gaps in episodes. And don't take it personally. I just want you all to be aware that, yeah, if we go a couple weeks without out an episode, that's why, is I'm trying to get ready to go back to the States. And then hopefully, once I go back, get resettled, there will be some sense of normalcy again. So just want to put that out there. Maybe I can make it happen. Maybe between me, you, and Jamie, we can still get a couple out there before I leave. But I just don't want to make any promises that I can't keep.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's a lot. And then I go back home and I get married a few weeks after that. So if it's not one thing, it's another.
That's all. What a year for BatCast.
Oh my God,
baby,
right?
wedding, you moving back to, a completely different country again. Like,
yeah, it's a lot. It's been a lot.
And Jamie's still grumpy, so.
And Jamie's just doing his thing out there.
Yeah.
And he got to see Catwoman, so that was important.
Yeah, I'm really, really keen to listen to that episode. I just need to find the time.
It was fun. We had a good time. I enjoyed it. But anyway, because there was no new episode last week, I was like, yeah, I wanted to throw one together with you, but we didn't have time. You're busy keeping a little human alive. I'm busy trying to get my life together. And so what I wanted to do is just do a little half-assed episode. So that's what this one is talk about any news that we haven't discussed recently. And there's been surprisingly a lot. Once I started digging, I realized, there's a lot we haven't discussed. And then try to get through some emails, and that's it. Send you all on your merry way. You can enjoy the rest of your day without worrying about it. So this is our little half-assed episode. Enjoy.
You have come to the right person, my friend, if you want something done half-assed.
All right. See, deep down you are American at heart, because that's what we do. We just half-ass it. Ironically, our asses are huge, but we half-ass pretty much everything else.
See, I've never I've just got a little hole in my lower back. My back just goes all the way down straight.
What a visual. Just a sad little flat. Oh my God. Anyway, so here we go. It's time for our half-assed episode. First thing, DC Fandom's coming back. Did you know that?
I did see that.
Did you know? Okay.
Did know that.
It'll be interesting if these things that I pulled up, how much you've actually been paying attention to, because you've had a lot going on. You've been busy little bugger.
Look, it's no excuse. It's no excuse not to be on top of my geek stuff.
That's true. I mean, while you're rocking Henry, you could still have one hand on your phone scrolling Twitter.
That's exactly right. But I did see that he's coming back. It's going to be slightly later this year in October.
Yeah, so October 16th of 2021, Fandom is back. No details other than the date, but awesome. We had a great time last year. I'm all in for another year. Something to look forward to.
You did. And it means that, you'll be able to watch it at a normal time this year.
Oh my God, you're right.
I will still have to get up at whatever godly hour to watch it. But the beauty of it being in October is it won't be the middle of winter for me, so it won't be like 5 degrees and really, really cold.
Yeah.
It'll just be a nice temperature.
Good. Yeah, it's actually going to feel weird watching it at normal time, because last year, I stayed up all night. It was actually kind of fun. It was like a sleepover with myself.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, for Comic-Con and Fandom and stuff last year, I don't mind the element that I have to deal with of getting up early, because it kind of does make it that little bit more memorable.
Yeah.
And I guess special, but like, yeah, I mean, like just waking up at that time last year and joining you on Skype for a bit and a few of the other guys, like it was really, really fun. So I'm stoked that it's coming back and we'll be able to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it was actually a kind of a fun evening. I was exhausted, but it was fun. You know, like I bought snacks. I had them like spaced out during the panels I was less interested in. So yeah, so to look forward to in October. But that's good to know. So we're getting more DC fandom. You know what else we're getting more of? We're getting more of Stargirl. So season 2 of Stargirl is coming. Well, not soon, but within a few months on August 10th, which I'm looking forward to because I loved season 1. But before they've even premiered season 2, they've already picked it up for season 3. So, Stargirl,
wow,
season 3.
No.
Yeah. So, that's exciting.
Awesome. I loved that show last year. It was really good.
I agree. Me too. I thought it was great. Looking forward to season 2, and nice to hear that they're apparently happy with it, and season 3 is coming our way.
And it's going straight to CW?
Yeah.
Or was it straight to CW last year?
Last year, it was CW and DC Universe, but DC Universe doesn't exist anymore. So, yep, now it's just a CW show, and then maybe it'll make its way to HBO Max or Netflix, depending on what the deal is. Because it's funny, all the CW shows go to Netflix because they had a pre-existing deal. But I don't know if that deal now covers this.
I don't know if you've got it written down, but speaking of shows going to HBO Max, did you see about Pennyworth?
I saw a rumor about that it might be going to HBO Max.
Yeah. Allegedly, season 3 is going to go to HBO Max. I still haven't watched any of season 2.
I didn't even know there was a season 2 yet.
Oh yeah, it was like 2 or 3 episodes around Christmas, New Year, and then it was gone for like 3 months or thereabouts, and then they started coming back again. I acquired the VHSs, but I haven't watched any of them yet. But I did find out last week that season 2 is about to drop on Binge over here in Australia, so I'm just going to wait till it drops and watch it that way. But yeah, there is a season 2. I believe it's good, and allegedly season 3 is not going to be on Epix. Mm-hmm. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's it.
And it's going to be a HBO Max show, which is cool because I think it deserves the, a bit more of a broader, what's the word I'm looking for?
Audience? Exposure?
Yeah, broader, exposure. That's the word I was looking for because it's a good show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I really liked it when I watched the first few with you for this show, and then because I don't have Epix and I honestly I wasn't motivated enough to send away for the VHSs. So if and when they drop it on HBO Max, that's something I'll enjoy revisiting and being able to catch up on. So I hope that's the case because you're right. Like then more eyeballs get on it, and it was a good show. I did enjoy what I saw of it.
He's a great Alfred Pennyworth. He's really, really good.
He's awesome. So maybe we'll see more Pennyworth on HBO Max, but definitely what we're going to be getting on HBO Max is more Titans, which I can't wait. We still don't know when season 3 is coming out, but we have a Scarecrow. Did you see this?
Do we?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so an actor named Vincent Kartheiser has been cast as the Scarecrow. This is according to the Wrap. He'll be playing the Scarecrow that is past his prime and living out his days in Arkham Asylum.
Interesting.
And I guess he was from Mad Men. I never watched Mad Men, so I don't really know the actor. Of the photo here, I'm like, sure, great, just kind of looks like a normal white guy. But it's Scarecrow, so I'm excited about it, excited about the casting. I just hope we get him in costume and that he looks badass. But if Titans costuming thus far is any indication, he will look great because I feel like their costume designs have been spot on.
They're so good.
But yeah, it's gonna be a heck of a season 3. So we will see the Scarecrow and we will see Arkham Asylum. Apparently, there were photos of Arkham Asylum floating out there, but I did not see them.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, me either. But I guess while they're shooting, there were some photos that made its way on the internet, and I didn't find them, and I haven't bothered digging. But that's cool. I'm always excited to see more Arkham in live action. I'm always excited for another version of Scarecrow, one of my favorite Batman villains. So I think this is cool.
Same page.
Oh, great. Good talk. glad we covered that. Do you know who else we're going to see on HBO Max, Brendan?
Tell me.
Green Lantern.
Yep, you're right. I did see this.
We are going to see Green Lantern. So Green Lantern Corps is still coming to HBO Max. And so the casting has begun. And this is one of those things I feel like we've been hearing about this show for a while, to the point where it's like...
It has been.
Yeah, like where like you haven't heard anything for a while, and I almost sort of forgot about it until this casting news came out, and I was like, oh, that's right. Green Lantern Corps. Forgot about that. Great.
And not the Green Lantern I was expecting, or one of the Green Lanterns I was expecting.
Yeah. It seems as if, obviously they're going to be able to cover a lot of Green Lanterns because it's Green Lantern Corps, but it certainly seems to me that they are avoiding Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Yes.
And that seems pretty intentional. And I'm okay with that. Because who knows what that could mean in the future. But we have a Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is going to be played by Finn Wittrock, who is an awesome actor and most famous for American Horror Story. And he was just in Ratched on Netflix, which might as well have been a season of American Horror Story, which I enjoyed too. I pretty much like all of Ryan Murphy stuff. I'm a huge fan. So, yes, he's awesome in those shows. He was also, oh my God, what was it? The Big Short. He was in that.
Oh, yep.
And if you remember way back when we had one of our fan casting episodes, I put him up as a potential Nightwing.
You did too, actually.
Yeah, way back when. I mean, that's been a few years now. But he's going to be Guy Gardner. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you watch any of these shows?
I watched seasons 1, 2, and the last season of American Horror Story. I'm just trying to remember, was he in those? Any of those?
His first one was Freak Show.
Okay, so I haven't seen that one. And if he was in 1984, I can't place him. But good show. But I
don't think he was in 84. But
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really seen him in anything else.
Well, he's great. He really is. So I think he could be great. I've seen some fans be like, well, they'd better dye his hair red. And for me, I'm like, sure, but whatever, Go look at Jason Momoa and tell me about the hair color. But anyway, great actor. Here's how they're describing Guy Gardner. It says, a hulking mass of masculinity, and as rendered in the comics, an embodiment of 1980s hyper-patriotism, and yet he is somehow likable. And then this is how they're describing the overall series. Green Lantern reinvents the classic DC property through a story spanning decades and galaxies. Beginning on Earth in 1941 with the very first Green Lantern, secretly gay FBI agent Alan Scott, and 1984 with cocky alpha male Guy Gardner and half-alien Bree Jarda. They'll be joined by a multitude of other Lanterns, from comic book favorites to never-before-seen heroes. So what's really interesting is like the time spans. The fact that like some of it will take place in the 40s with Alan Scott and in the 80s with Guy Gardner. That's kind of interesting and cool.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds awesome. Like, it's. I mean, you could just do a contemporary Green Lantern, obviously, but going back to Alan Scott, like that's I'm all for that.
Yeah, and it's funny because that Alan Scott being gay is a relatively new thing. That was like in the last 10 years that they sort of retconned that, because they were like, oh, we need more representation in our superheroes. And so that was one that they changed. So, but this being a Berlanti thing, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense that he would want to, explore that and go with that version of Alan Scott. So I think it sounds really cool. It'll be really interesting, to see how those times are played with, like it'll be interesting. But I like the casting. I can't wait for the show, and the fact that there is a casting, that means that, we're moving forward.
Bring it on.
Sweet. Something else that is picking up some steam as well is Aquaman 2.
This I am very excited about.
I'm very much looking forward to Aquaman 2 because, hey, come here. I'm going to tell you a secret. Aquaman 1 rules.
I'm totally with you on that one.
But actor Pilo Pilu Asbach. I probably saying it wrong. Pilu Asbach is joined the cast of Aquaman 2, but they are not saying which role. But he is best known as Euron Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. But you didn't watch Game of Thrones.
I didn't.
You did not. So you don't know what you're getting here. But let's just say this is the most hateable Emmer effer you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh, God. He was such a bastard on Game of Thrones. I hated him so much. I mean, that was the point. I was supposed to. Mission accomplished. God, Game of Thrones did a lot of things amazingly well, but one of the things they did best was giving you villains that you just wanted to punch so hard. And he was one of them.
Kind of like the Homelander effect.
Oh, my God. Yes. Like, just... Oh, then they had a lot of great bastard villains, but he was one of them. And yeah, so we don't know who he's going to be playing. I'm kind of guessing a villain of some sort, but because I think he'd be like too old to do Garth or something like that. You know, I don't necessarily think he would be one of those characters. So I don't know.
I'm just trying to think if it's been confirmed if that's filming in Australia like the first one did. If they're going to come back here or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would kind of guess so, but you just never know.
I mean, from what I've seen and hearing, like quite a few productions are sort of making their way to Australia now because of the COVID situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and plus James Wan.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, Mortal Kombat. Like he produced Mortal Kombat. That just came out. And that was all like shot in Australia.
Yeah. A few Australian cast members in there too, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of would expect Aquaman 2 would go back to Australia, but you let me know. You keep your eyes peeled. Let me know if you see anyone walking around.
I hope so.
Who looks like an Atlantean. So anyway, good actor, punchable face, total dick. Probably not in real life. In real life, I'm sure he's pleasant, but in Game of Thrones, total dick. Interested to see who he's going to play in Aquaman. But again, for me, the excitement is more about, oh, great, like production is moving forward. They're casting. They're getting ready to go. And that's the exciting part for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of something that's finally getting going, guess what started shooting? You're not going to believe it.
I reckon it's something that Jamie still won't believe until there's a trailer.
They're shooting a movie that Jamie doesn't believe in. But it's a movie. It's a real movie, damn it, and it's happening. So...
And is it a movie where there's been an old building from a previous DC movie is getting some attention again?
That too, yes. Movie? So The Flash is now officially being shot. Andy Muschietti, he shared a video on his Instagram that says, here we go, The Flash, day one. This was on April 19th. So was that 2 weeks ago-ish? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going back in the news. That's okay. Forgive me. But yeah, and it was just...
Flash is going to go back in time, so...
Exactly. The video was just sort of like a title treatment with like the lightning and the logo and a little bit of music. I saw some people getting mad that the music was not the music from Justice League, and I'm like, it's just relax, guys. You know, let's just it's a promo piece going, hey, we started shooting. Why don't we just wait and see the movie?
Also, it's not the same composer for the movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Why would they use music from somebody else?
That is also true. It's a different composer, and who knows if that's even like the final score? We don't know.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the final score, but maybe Benjamin Wallfish, like, put a little something together for this promo. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought it was really cool. It was a cool little promo, cool logo. I love that they're shooting. It's finally happening. It's been a long road getting here, and I'm excited about it. There was a little bit of back and forth for a few weeks where, like, Michael Keaton was being a little cagey going, oh, you know, like, we'll see what happens with COVID and with schedule. I'm not sure. And so people were like, oh, no, he's out. And I never really got too worried about that because I'm like, well, you know, it seemed like it was already a done deal. And then whatever, a week later, they were like, no, it's confirmed. He's still doing it. And I was like, okay, great. But then as you said...
That's the story, like, when that was coming, no, Michael Keaton's returning. I'm just like, this is like the 4th time this has been news.
Yeah,
like,
we already know.
I was shaking my head. Like, it was making, like, rounds in the media here in Australia. I'm like, this is 15 months old.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know. But if you needed further proof, there is some further proof. And that's what you were mentioning, is that there were some set photos that got out of an old, expansive, kind of gothic-looking mansion that is very reminiscent of Wayne Manor from Batman '89. So, yep, it seems like I don't think it's the same house. I think it's just very similar, but it was hard to tell. I was trying to compare the new photos with the pictures in the movie, and I'm like, it's definitely similar. That's obviously what it is, but I can't tell if it's actually the same house.
Right. It's one of the things I saw. I thought it was the way that the headline was written, but it could just be lady stuff. Yeah.
People with more time on their hands than us right now, confirm. Let me know. Let me know if it's the same house. My belief is that it's not, but it's close enough that you kind of can't tell the difference. It's definitely the Batman '89 house, not the Batman Returns house, because the Batman Returns house was a model.
Correct.
But I think that is awesome. I love the continuity. I think that is great. Because, I think that in the film, I think it will be indistinguishable. I think you'll go, oh, yeah, Batman '89. What a great detail. And I just think that it definitely got me geeked out. I thought that was great.
Look, I don't take this the wrong way. But with Keaton returning and stuff, I do kind of hope stylistically they aim more for '89 than Returns. I was never really not I've always liked sort of the style of '89 over Returns, because Returns, even as a kid, I was just like, it just feels so small and it looks like it's shot in a room as opposed to being, on a street or more real world. So I'm hoping they kind of go that way rather than the Batman Returns angle.
No, I actually do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And like the concept art that we saw of the Flash with Keaton's Batman, it looked more '89 than it did Returns.
I'm thinking the suit's probably going to be even more '89 themed if he is in a suit. Yeah. Rather than Returns. I think they're going to go, back to the beginning.
I think so too. I agree. But yeah, I mean, I that's always been one of my complaints about Batman Returns. As much as I love that movie, my complaint was always just like, why does it look nothing like the first movie? Like, it would have gone so far if they had just had some continuity in what Gotham looked like and what Wayne Manor looked like. If you could still go, oh yeah, it's the same place. It would just have felt more like a sequel in that way. So I actually do agree with you. What's fun, and this was not on my list, but since you bring it up, is they're working on the Batman '89 comic, right? And someone tweeted Joe Quinones and saying, hey, which Batcave are you going to use? Are you going to use '89 or are you going to use Returns? And he shared a photo, or not a photo, but like a drawing that he had been working on. He goes, they're both canon. And so he essentially smashed them together and made them one Batcave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I know that there was a week or two there where he was sharing a lot of art.
Yeah, he continues to share a lot of art. Yeah, and it looks awesome. But everything he shares, I love it. I
haven't seen the Batcave drawing, so I'll have to jump on his Twitter and have a look.
Yeah, so he basically said they both count, and he tried to make them work together, and so I'll be really interested. And there was more of a tease because you saw the elements of both. He didn't show how they were combined, but I'm really excited to see what that's going to be like in the comic, because I do think that's the answer, is you somehow try to incorporate both and do what Tim Burton didn't do, which is make both of those Gothams one and the same.
Yep. No, agreed. Jeez, I'm excited for that comic.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, that was really cool, but it does make sense he would go with the '89 Wayne Manor for the Flash. And then along those same lines, which is, again, this was not on my list, but since we're talking about it, someone has shared a fan-made video game thing? Yeah.
Yes, I was just thinking that too, and I'm like, I won't mention that in case we go on a tangent, but yeah. Go for it.
Oh my God. So it's like a fan-made Burton Batman game, right? Because it's got elements of 89 and Returns, and it is gorgeous. And
It really is.
I will admit I didn't get to watch the whole thing yet. I only got to watch like the first 5 minutes between meetings this week, but I've been meaning to go back to it. But oh my God, it is amazing. So whoever made that, kudos, well done. And I would pay an exorbitant amount of money for that as a real game. It was just beautiful.
You know, I kind of did like a sort of skimmed through bits to see, the Batmobile looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, you know me, I'm sort of you, like I'm not a gamer, but if there was a way to get my hands on that and play it somehow, I definitely would.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I need to go back and watch it. I just need to remember to do so. But man, it was amazing. A few people shared that with me, and I was like, oh yeah, take all my money. Because like you said, I'm not a big gamer, but for that, I'd make an exception.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, Batman's coming in The Flash. Batman. The more Batman, the better. And Batman is also coming to HBO Max in a way. Because we know that there's this GCPD series coming to HBO Max that will tie in with the Batman. And so we got a little bit of news on this. So Brubaker was on Fat Man Beyond. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so here's what he said. He said, I was like, okay, maybe they're really going to make Gotham Central this time. So I reached out to a producer who works with Matt Reeves and said, no, that's not really Gotham Central. They're making sure they don't call it Gotham Central. It's more of a spinoff of the movie. It's like the James Gordon show. And so I guess recently someone left the project due to creative differences, replaced by a new showrunner named Joe Barton. But the fact that it is James Gordon-centered GCPD, and so that begs the question, is Jeffrey Wright signed on to star in the show?
You would think you'd have to, wouldn't you? Like, you can't, if it's set in the same world and it's a Gordon show, you've kind of got to have Gordon.
I would hope so. And I mean, and if it's like a 10-episode thing, someone like Jeffrey Wright could do that, right? Where it's not like going to take up his whole life.
Well, he's done HBO series before.
Yeah, and it's yeah. So, I mean, if it really is like that version of Gordon, I think that's actually really cool. I'm going to be more interested in that to star a character from the movie than something that's just sort of kind of very tangentially related.
Yeah, and like, I understand. I mean, everyone's been screaming for a Gotham Central show for like pretty much a decade, and we thought we were going to get it with Gotham. It's not what we got with Gotham. So I understand people wanting that. I think I understand why like they wouldn't be calling it Gotham Central, because I think that would mean people, including, was it Brubaker, wasn't it? Would probably need to get paid. But my hope is that it's a good police procedural, or like how can I describe it? Like sort of like a police procedural crossed with something like a long form story. So not just sort of like crime of the week, like an NYPD Blue or LA Law, something like that. Yeah. But, it kind of being Gotham Central-esque, but without it, being a different, rogue every other episode or something like that. So,
yeah,
I do have high hopes for it. I just hope that, unlike, I know you liked Gotham, and I watched it for a couple of seasons, but it just, the longer it went on, it just moved further and further away from the show we were kind of told we were going to be getting in the original press release for that show. So, yeah. No, I mean, I'll be very interested. I think it's cool. I like that it. I mean, if it is a companion to the film, I think it could be really cool. So, I'm into it. And if it's going to star Jeffrey Wright, and you're going to be able to explore more of this world and this Gotham, I don't know. Sounds fun. Hell yeah.
But speaking of the Batman, I don't know if you saw this. There was a little like snippet of a featurette that made its way onto Twitter.
I did catch this yesterday morning, yes.
And it was really cool, and it's totally legit, and it's Matt Reeves talking about the movie, and it's Zoe Kravitz talking about Catwoman. And it wasn't very long. It was like a minute or something. But it was like, yeah, someone got a hold of some snippet of a behind-the-scenes featurette and shared it. But it was actually really cool. And what I remember from it is that Matt Reeves said something about, like, not only is Batman becoming who he's going to be, but the same thing with his Rogues Gallery. So Selena Kyle isn't Catwoman yet. She is becoming Catwoman, which I thought was actually very interesting. And we sort of knew that, of course, based on the trailer and what we've seen and what we've heard. But it was interesting to get that confirmation. And then Zoe Kravitz even talked about it too, saying, oh, yeah, you know, Selena can take care of herself. She wants to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And so anyway, it was actually, whatever this featurette is, release it. I want to see more of it because I want to hear what they have to say. But
well, in the whole thing, there was probably, 20 seconds or thereabouts of like footage we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Which looked really cool. There was maybe 5 seconds or less where you actually saw Pattinson in the suit again in shots that weren't in that trailer.
Uh-huh.
And it looks good. I'm really excited for that movie. It's still not the kind of Batman movie I'm asking for, but I'm excited to consume it, and hopefully it's as awesome as I think everybody hopes it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny, and I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this out loud, but like, you're just talking about like the premise for Gotham of like, oh, you know, it's all the characters before they become what we know them to be, and I'm like, well, that's kind of what Matt Reeves is saying about this movie, right? I just hope that that will happen over the course of the movie, and it won't be like, oh, we'll come back next time and then see the characters that you came to see this time.
Yeah, like it's in some ways it's kind of a reverse Affleck in that,
yeah,
you know, Affleck was past the character that we know. We were seeing the other end of it where he'd been pushed to the limits and too far. You know, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, we saw him, you know, bring himself back, but we haven't seen Batman in his prime. And, you know, even with Nolan's trilogy, to be honest, like, I mean, you could argue that The Dark Knight, because it's the second part of a trilogy, is kind of Batman in his prime, but he's still new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and then he kind of quits before we get to see. Yeah, I mean, just the whole it's they're not the characters you know yet.
Yeah.
Like, well,
yeah.
Okay, but I do know these characters, and I want to see them in their prime.
But I still came to see Catwoman. You know, I came to see the Riddler.
Yeah, like I've already seen a movie in the last 10 years where Catwoman was in it, and they didn't call her Catwoman. Like, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
We've had this conversation before.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, and I've said it before, is that was my fear of Batman Begins way back in 2005. Is I was like, oh God, am I going to watch 90 minutes of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, and then the last 15 minutes he's Batman? And I was like, oh, I hope not. And then the movie was awesome, right? Amazing. Arguably the best Batman movie ever made. And so I'm hoping this will be the same. It's like, there are things that concern me where I'm like, oh God, are you just going to give me the before time? Or are you just going to give me the prequel versions of everything? And maybe that's not the case. And maybe I'll go in and we'll watch it and I'll go, oh, see, I worried about nothing. This was amazing. This was great. I love it. But yeah, that's, I think we see eye to eye on that. But anyway, it was a cool little snippet. I don't know where it came from. I don't think anyone does right now, but it'll be nice to see more of it when the time comes. At least we'll get a new trailer in October 16th,
I was going to say, around October, yeah.
Yeah, at least we can plan on that, which is exciting. So anyway, fun to see that as well. And then aside from Batman coming back to theaters, which will be March of 2022, still weird, March 4th. What a bizarre release date for a Batman movie, but... Yeah. The times they are a-changin', but someone else who's...
BBS was March.
Yeah, but it was March 25th, which is like spring break. March 4th is just weird. But It doesn't matter. It's Batman. But then who else is apparently coming back to theaters but Superman? And we spoke when the news dropped that Ta-Nehisi Coates was going to be writing a new Superman film, and now we got some additional information from the Hollywood Reporter. So it appears that, yes, indeed, this will be a black Superman. And so Warner Brothers is looking for a black filmmaker to direct the film, still being produced by J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot. And so they're looking at a lot of the same directors, apparently, as Marvel is looking for Blade. So they said people like Barry Jenkins, Ryan Coogler, Stephen Caple Jr., J.D. Dillard, Regina King, and Shaka King. So they're looking at many up-and-coming or established black filmmakers to bring their black Superman to life. And apparently it is going to still be Kal-El. So it will not be one of the other Supermen. And, oh my God, I can't... What was it? Val-Zod and Calvin Ellis.
That sounds right, yes.
So I guess it is not going to be either of them. It will still be Kal-El. They're just going to be doing it with a black actor. Another little snippet in here was that it might be taking place in the 20th century, so it would be something of a period piece. So, how do you feel about that? It said, it won't be part of the in continuity DC universe. Coates is crafting Kal-El in the vein of the original Superman comics and will have the protagonist come from Krypton. The story is still being crafted. Many details can change, but one option is that it could be a period piece. So, thoughts, feelings, reactions?
I hate talking about stuff like this. I feel like I need to be careful. Because if I say...
Because you do.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
Because if I say this is not something I want to see, it could be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it's not something I really want to see. I mean, the reason I say that, and I think we had this discussion last time when the sort of this news broke a month or so ago, or whatever, is it's like because I'm not done with Henry yet. Like I want to see more of Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
That guy is my Superman, and I think everybody wants to see more of him. So it's, I think the premise is interesting. I mean, I don't have an issue with, I guess, like swapping the race of the actor, like that's fine. I don't know. I just feel that. This is a touchy subject too, but I just kind of feel that, and I know I see a lot of it on Twitter, and a lot of it's hyperbole, but I do agree with it to a point where it almost feels like Warner Brothers are going out of their way to not give the fans what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to say this project doesn't sound cool, and it's not to say it won't be fantastic. Like I hope it is, but you've got pretty much all of DC fandom going, we want to see more of Henry Cavill. We loved Man of Steel. Sure, audiences were a bit burnt with BVS and the theatrical version of Justice League and stuff, but people still loved the casting. And, like, Wonder Woman is proof of that, Aquaman is proof of that. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, dude. Like, I'm interested to see what they come up with, but I'm just not. I'm not asking for it. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, honestly, I'm there with you. And it's not, and like you said, and I agree, I've never had a problem with changing the race of a famous character. Just, it doesn't bother me. That's fine. It's not that makes me less excited about the project. And I think that maybe you hit the nail on the head is fans have been asking for a Superman movie, right? And many of those fans are asking for another Henry Cavill Superman movie. But even the ones who aren't, even the DC fans who say, you know what, I didn't like Man of Steel, I didn't like BVS, I'm ready for a new Superman, are they asking for this Superman movie? I don't think so. So I think you're right, is like, this isn't, and I don't know, you're right, like it's tricky, because I'm it's not the race thing, because that doesn't bother me, but it's just like, instead of going, oh, let's give us, let's go back to basics and get to a Superman movie that people have been wanting. It's like they're course correcting so far out of whack that it's like, nope, we're going to do something completely different, completely off the reservation. And like, is this really the Superman movie people are asking for? I don't know. Of course I'll go see it. I'll be interested to see it. I hope it's great. But like, I just feel like you don't need to go this far away from you don't have to go this far away from another Superman movie to try and distance yourself from the last one. I don't know. It just feels extreme to me.
I mean, if people want a comics accurate Superman movie, which I think that's what we want as fans, you've got the perfect guy. He's ripped from the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
He's there, and from what we kind of gather from little things that he says and does and stuff, like, he still wants to play the character.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the problem is.
I mean, here's the thing is, to play devil's advocate, I do understand, even if I don't agree, I understand why Warner Brothers would want to move on from Henry Cavill.
Yeah, to a point.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I agree with you. I think he's a great Superman. I think he could continue being a great Superman for many years to come. But I understand Warner Brothers going, he starred in 2 incredibly divisive movies with Man of Steel and BVS, and so we want to start fresh. I could understand that's where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. But is this the answer to that? You please listen back to the show. I am all for more representation. I am all for more heroes of color. I am all for more people of color fronting our superhero movies. I'm all for it. I support it. I applaud it. And I want more of it. It's just, of all the ones you could do, why, like, Superman just feels like a really odd choice to me. Honestly,
well,
I would be more on board with a black Batman than a black Superman. Not that Superman can't be black, but we've had so many versions of Batman that I go, oh yeah, we're ready for a new twist. I don't feel like Superman's ready for a new twist. People aren't asking for a new twist. People are asking for a classic comics accurate Superman.
Yeah, and it also, to me, it muddies the water because, Warner Brothers are saying, we want to move on from Henry Cavill's Superman. But, 10 minutes ago, we were talking about Aquaman 2 going into production? The Flash is currently shooting. We're getting a Wonder Woman 3. It's the same friggin' continuity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's there. Like, what is it with Batman and Superman, the 2 biggies, you would argue, in the whole sort of JL team, that they want to go in different directions and have these things that aren't connected. But you've got Shazam 2 is coming. Like, you have a cinematic universe, but then you keep pulling character. It doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, I get, like, I understand the Affleck side of things. Like, I can sort of, I can come to terms with that more.
Well, that one totally makes sense because he's Ben Affleck, and it was very much his choice to be done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But you're right.
You've got the guy there who wants to do it.
You could have preserved 5/6 of that Justice League.
Yes.
Pretty easily, and the Ray Fisher thing is its own thing. But yeah, like, you're right. There was no reason to recast, and so it's so bizarre. I do think it is one of those things where Warner Brothers or whoever is making these decisions, like, and it's a problem that's been going on for 20 years now, is there are some people that go, Superman is boring. People don't care about Superman. And it's like, that is 100% false. And it's like, what is wrong with you people that you cannot see the inherent value in Superman, in that character? And you want proof of that? Because you only answer to money. Here's your proof of that. Look at the opening weekend for Man of Steel. Because, yes, once it came out, people were divided on whether they liked the film. But that opening weekend was massive. Do you know why? Because people were so excited to be getting a new Superman movie. And based on the trailers, everyone thought it was going to be the Superman movie they were waiting for. Mm-hmm. I love Man of Steel. Not everyone loved it. That's why it didn't have the legs that everyone wanted it to that summer.
No one had issues with Henry.
But my point is people were willing to line up and pay a lot of money to see a new Superman movie without the promise of Batman or Wonder Woman or Aquaman or The Flash. They couldn't wait for it. So you give them that, but you do a movie that's, maybe a little, whatever, a little more crowd pleasing, for lack of a better term. The problem isn't the casting. The problem isn't the character. Those are not the problems.
No. Man, think about it. From 1993 to now, so what, 20-something, 27 years or something like that. My maths is a bit rough. How many Superman TV series have there been?
Mm-hmm.
One of them lasted a decade.
Yeah.
Like, people are interested in the character.
Yeah.
If they weren't, you wouldn't have it. That show, he wasn't, he didn't even fully become the character, but people still watched it for 10 years in the hopes that he would become the character.
Yeah.
And you're crushing it with Superman and Lois at the moment. It's a great show.
Yeah. It's
Why
not
can't
the
you get your shit
character.
together for the big screen?
The only thing I can think of, because there were all these murmurs and all these rumors about negotiations that broke down between Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers, is all I can think of is whatever those were, it left such a bad taste in their mouth that they're like, we're not playing this game. That's the only thing I can think of, because there's no other good reason for it.
There's not. And if that's the case, it's disappointing. But again, you want money. You've still got the guy who said, after all that shit had allegedly happened, that, it's still in my closet, like the cape's still mine.
Yeah, he wants to do it. Anyway, again, we're talking in circles.
We are.
I just think that a new Superman movie, great. But, I don't think that, race swapping the cast of Superman is the fresh take that we need to make Superman relevant. It just feels like, again, over course correcting. But all that said, will I be interested? Yes. Will I be paying close attention? Absolutely. Who knows if it'll even happen, But if it happens, I will support it. I hope it's great. And I do hope, if this is the route they go, I hope it's this great aspirational thing for people of all races. I'm all for it. That's what Superman should be. So, but because of all of this baggage with trying to get Superman back on a movie screen, it's just that to me, sours any excitement I would have for this.
Yeah. And I mean, I know Zack Snyder's Justice League was shot, 4 years ago, whatever, and we know the journey. But it's stranger too, because to us, that movie's only just not even quite 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
So Henry still feels, all of that cast still feel very relevant.
Yeah.
And like you said, majority of them are. So it's a very odd choice, and the timing it's compacted it, I think.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I hope we don't get in trouble.
I think our point's valid. I'd be making the same argument if they were recasting, I don't know, if they came out and said Matt Bomer's playing Superman in a new relaunch thing, I'd be like, but why?
Yeah.
My reaction would be the same.
Yeah.
The racing's got nothing to do with it.
All right. Well, there you go. See, I told you, a lot of news. A lot we covered. All right. Well, great. That was great. Well, now let's check in with you, fine feathered finks, as we crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Derek. What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
And we got a few, not too many. First one here's from our pal Tom Fallows. It says, hey, first of all, congratulations to Brendan. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Congratulations to Brendan and Jess on the birth of their Holy BatChild. Hope you're both doing well, and I hope Andy and Jamie are doing well also. Says, I was a little disappointed with the Batcave in The Dark Knight Rises. Considering the promise to have it expanded in Batman Begins, it didn't seem like much of an improvement. I much preferred the bunker. It seemed more formed to me. So my question is this, what's your favorite on-screen Batcave? Also, I know we all rip on Jamie for the bat hangers, but one thing that annoys me about the scene is when Bruce goes into the vault, there are suits propped up on mannequins. Are they just for display purposes? Thanks, guys. Tom Fallows. Thanks, Tom. All right, so favorite on-screen bat cave, Brendan?
Probably 89.
Mm-hmm.
If I could sort of do like a sort of a mashup of the caves, I'd probably go like an 89 with just a touch of Forever. Like I kind of liked how it felt a little bit bigger. But then I also really I loved how the Batmobile enters the Batcave in BVS, so the Affleck cave as well. So sort of a mashup of those three would be my ideal.
Yeah. I think all that makes sense. I think 89 is my favorite, just because it's a cave. It is truly a cave. But I do think it needs to be a little more expansive. And yeah, like the BVS one is great, but like once he's in the actual cave, it's more like just a room. It's like out of the cave. And so I was like, no, I wanted more of the cave everywhere. But I do agree with you about The Dark Knight Rises. At the end of Batman Begins, when he goes, this gives us an opportunity for enhancements under the southeast corner, whatever he says. And I remember being like, oh, hell yeah, you're building a Bat Cave. And then, yeah, you're right. We never really got a payoff of that, which is disappointing. And then the mannequins in Batman Returns, I mean, it's just to keep the form of the mask, of the cowl, obviously. It's not for display. It's to keep the cowl properly supported.
True.
Okay, next email is from Joe Forno. Yay. He says,
know that guy.
Yeah, he says, hey guys, it's been way too long. Thanks for all the excellent content and the Catwoman episode with your significant others. It was a lot of fun. I was wondering what comics you're currently reading. Has DC Universe Infinite allowed or even encouraged you to wait for digital in some instances? I am always behind on current comics anyway, so it was a pretty easy transition for me when it became a 6-month delay, even though I still pick up physical comics as well. Thanks again, and congratulations to Brendan and Jess on the birth of their new baby boy. All the best, Joe Fornerado. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
So yeah, comics, Brendan?
None.
Zero.
I'm still waiting for the next season of Batman: The Adventures Continue. So once that comes out, I will start reading current comics again.
Perfect. And yeah, for me, I'm only digital right now because I'm in China. I hope to start picking up floppies again once I get back to the States. But for me, it is I read the current Batman comic. That one I read whenever it comes out. And then really, it's comics that I had previously purchased that I never got around to reading. So I read those. And then, DC Universe Infinite, I peruse and I read on there as well. Like you, Joe, when I was getting the physical ones every week or every 2 weeks, I couldn't keep up with them anyway, so I don't mind waiting a few months and just reading them on the app. So I'm pretty happy with that. Next message is from Weston Craig. It says, hey, now that you've done a double date Holy BatCast, you should review the double date episode of Justice League Unlimited. Question, who is your favorite Justice League Unlimited character besides Batman? Thanks, Weston. Always good to hear from you, and glad you liked our double date episode. So, favorite Justice League Unlimited character besides Batman, Brendan? I think I know the answer.
The Question.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love The Question in that show, and Double Date is a friggin' awesome episode. I love that episode so much. I used to rewatch it all the time when I first got the DVD. So, yeah, there you go.
For me, it's Blue Devil, even though he never got his full episode, but he was there. He was present, and I like it. Honestly, the one that springs to mind, and I might regret, and I don't regret it, but like I feel like I'll have a better answer if I think about it. But the one that immediately jumps to mind is Hawk and Dove. I've always liked Hawk and Dove anyway, and I just thought it was so cool that they got their own episode of JLU.
I did too, yeah.
So, except it was the older
series.
version where they were two men.
Yes.
And where they were like brothers, right?
From memory, yeah.
Yeah, and my comics Hawk and Dove knowledge, it was always Hank and Dawn instead of Hank and Dawn. So that threw me off because I was like, wait, no, Dove is a female, but they did the old school version. All right. Next message is from Gabe Nakamura. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew, congrats to Brendan on becoming a parent." Lots of congrats to you, Brendan.
I love the listeners.
Yeah, it says, if you had the power to greenlight any 3 DC projects, movie, TV, video games, comics, animated movies, etc., which projects would you make? For me, it would be a Birds of Prey TV show for HBO Max with the cast of the movie minus Harley Quinn, a Superman project for Henry Cavill on either HBO Max or a miniseries, and an animated Justice League film theatrical release not tied to the DCEU. Thanks for taking the question. Keep up the great work, Gabe Nakamura. Ooh, man. Okay, this is kind of hard, but all right. I mean, it's hard because there are so many great options. But
yeah,
good question,
like
Gabe.
5 off the top of my head, but I'm limited to 3.
Oh my God. Okay, go for it.
Henry Cavill Superman movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's a bit left of center, but I think people might be interested in seeing that. Look, I know this is all make believe shit, but I really want like an Affleck Batman series, like movie series, like long form. Like give me a series, is like 8 episodes and it's an hour each episode or something like that. Like tell a really awesome, like definitive Batman story. Just give me that. Get it in my eyes right now. For a third one, like I know this is potentially coming anyway, but a revival of Batman the Animated Series, but done the way that we've kind of said, where we don't want it to be like, we just kind of want more of those episodes. Like we don't want anything like drastic changes, and preferably not the season 4 look. Like just just more great Batman the Animated Series episodes. Just don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Okay, good answers. I am going to try and give different answers. I like your answers, Gabe. I like your answers, Brendan. So I'm going to try and give different answers. So first thing, and this is going to be one project, Justice League 2 and 3 with Zack Snyder and the team.
Good call.
Let him finish. Okay, I'm counting that as one because they're going to shoot him together, so it counts as one.
That's totally a cheat, but I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. Another one, just because it came up, is Justice League Dark for HBO Max, but starring Matt Ryan as Constantine, Swamp Thing from the Swamp Thing DC Universe series, and Blue Devil from the Swamp Thing series.
Down with that.
And then a third one. All right, this is one I'm just making up as I go. But what about an Arkham Asylum TV series that's it's like a Batman villain series. So instead of having Gotham Central, it's Arkham Asylum the series. HBO Max.
That would be awesome.
And about 100 other things, but okay, that's the first ones that came to mind. All right, next email is from Jim Scroggs. It says, hey guys, what non-DC fictional character would you want to have on the show, and what would you ask? Jim Scroggs. Okay, a fictional character, Brendan, as a guest
A non-DC
on the
fictional
show.
character.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the easy one, like, if it's not Batman, it's James Bond. Like, if we're going non-DC. But I think it'd be kind of fun to have someone like Peter Venkman
Okay.
on. Like, because I know that we'd both, like, get a kick out of that. Laurie Strode,
Okay.
we'd both get a kick out of. Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah. I would say, how about Captain Jack Sparrow?
Interesting.
I love me some Captain Jack, and I feel like it would be an entertaining conversation.
It would certainly be that.
You know, I'm trying to think of who else. Hades from Hercules. How about that? I'm just thinking of my favorite characters now. Hades, Captain Jack. Who else? Who else is entertaining? I'm going with those two. Esmeralda, but only if we can record in person.
Yes. And I'll leave you alone. Unless you want me to stay.
Just sit in the corner and keep quiet.
Only cut cast. Sorry, carry on.
And he's dead. All right. One last email here. This is from Jacob Milligan. It says, "Hey guys, I'm a brand new fan of the podcast, and I've gone down to the very first episode, and I've been listening on my way up. I love all your content, and I'm extreme Batman fanatic. All this to say, will you go over The Dark Knight Rises with the Suicide Squad cast in 2022? And have you ever recorded a reaction to the Batman trailer? I know you're not a huge fan of the suit or the Batmobile, and has your opinion changed since the trailer? Also, I'm a huge Robin fan. Do you have any Tim Drake Robin comics to recommend? And where can I read them? Is there an app where I can read them? I'm in Alaska. I can't seem to find a comic shop near me. Last two questions, I promise. Ooh, lots of questions. Which live-action Batman actor has the best Batman chin? And if you could say one positive thing about Batman and Robin, what would it be? To be more precise, you have to say one positive thing about Batman and Robin about the movie, so no saying that it gave us Batman Begins. Thanks for your time. Keep up the wonderful podcast, Jacob." All right, thanks, Jacob. Here we go. So, The Dark Knight Rises with the Suicide Squad cast, guys. Yeah, it's one of those things we've been talking about doing because we did the first two, and so it's just a matter of schedules and whatnot. And but yes, would love to finish off the trilogy that way. When we did our DC Fandom wrap up, that was our reaction to the Batman trailer. And we just talked a little bit about our thoughts on the movie because of the news around it. But yeah, Brendan, have you felt better about it since the trailer?
Like I said in the fandom episode, like, the trailer's awesome. Like, it's got, like, I'm hyped for the movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not the Batman movie I want to see or that I'm asking for, but it still looks like a really good Batman movie, so I'm there for it. I've got the T-shirt. Like, I'm hyped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you, and I do think the trailer did a lot to get me more excited.
Hell yeah.
Because I didn't like how the suit looked in the reveal, but in the trailer the suit looked really good. So I've actually warmed up to the suit a lot. It's not the suit I would have designed, but I still think it looks really good once we saw it in the trailer. So I still don't like the Batmobile. I hope that's only Batmobile version 0. I hope that it gets upgraded. But all that said, I think the trailer is great. And yeah, I can't wait to see the movie. So even though I'm not necessarily, I don't love every choice that was made, I'm letting them make their movie, and I hope I love the movie. And then Tim Drake Robin comics, yeah, absolutely. There's actually 3 volumes. At least 3. There might even be more, but I have the first 3. I don't remember if they did any more than that. And it's essentially like Tim Drake's Robin story. So it's like Robin Volume 1, Robin Volume 2, Robin Volume 3. And they had subtitles. I can't remember what they are because I was not prepared for this question, but I own them all. And I'm sure they're on DC Universe Infinite. So yeah, if you want to read more especially Tim Drake Robin, check those out. And DC Universe Infinite, if you love your DC Comics, it's definitely worth the money. You know, it's the price of 2 comics per month. So if you read 2 comic books on there every month, it's worth it. And then more recently, the James Tynion run on Detective, he really did a lot of work to bring Tim Drake back to the forefront with that arc. So yeah, read A Lonely Place of Dying, read the Robin volumes, because those include stories from the Robin miniseries, his journey post Lonely Place of Dying, becoming Robin, and then his solo series, and then recently Detective Comics by James Tynion. And then finally, a live action Batman actor who has the best chin.
I mean, I think it's got to be Affleck, surely.
I think so. I mean, he's almost famous for his chin, so doesn't it have to be him?
Yeah, Keaton was more the lips.
Yes.
Kilmer didn't have a bad chin, but I think Affleck would be the chin. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like the only chin that jumped to mind was Affleck, so it's got to be him.
Yeah.
And then one positive thing to say about Batman and Robin, but you can't just say it gave us Batman Begins.
It shouldn't be this hard.
Say something positive about Batman Forever, because it's also in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's a sequel to a movie I really like. Does that count? Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think. Actually, I will say this. I think I might have said it before. I don't know if this counts, but that Batmobile from that movie gets a lot of shit, and kind of rightfully so, because it doesn't look great on screen, in my opinion, and I never really liked it. However, when you see the thing for real, because there was only one of them, like they didn't make like the multiple versions for theme parks and things like that, like all the other Batmobiles. There's literally just one of this car, and when you see the real thing, like in the flesh, in the metal, at the Warner Brothers Studios in LA, it's pretty friggin' impressive. I was actually blown away by how much I really was like, wow, this is actually a really cool looking car. So that I guess that counts as a positive, is that the Batmobile is actually kind of cool. It just doesn't look that good in the movie.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that about all the vehicles in that movie, because they're all ridiculous. But, I saw them all in person on the WB lot, and I still kind of geeked out about them, because they were still Batman vehicles, even though they were ridiculous Batman vehicles. I'll still take it. What I will say is, I've certainly made my peace with Batman and Robin over the years, because it's a movie that knows what it is, and that's fine. I kind of accept it that way, and it's one. And this is not an original take, but if you watch it as a very expensive, updated version of Batman 66, it's a lot easier to take.
Correct.
So, and I will intentionally put it on occasion, usually in the background. It's not like I sit there and sit on the edge of my seat and watch it, but because it's still Batman. That's how I feel about Batman Forever. I may not like it, it's still Batman. So I still kind of like it, even if I don't like it. And so, yeah, both of those movies I'll put on, just in the background and stuff, because I do have nostalgia for them. I have nostalgia for the hype around them. They're both so 90s,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and at this point, they are what they are, and it's certainly not my preferred version, but I can just accept them for what they are. It's fine.
That's fair.
That's it. That's our last email. Thank you guys for writing in. We appreciate it. And we did it. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. But that's where we're going to wrap up our half-assed show, Brendan. We did it. Thanks for making the time. Yeah. That's
okay.
Yeah. Thank you for contributing a quarter of the ass. I contributed another quarter. So we have a total of a half-ass.
I'm And what a half-ass it is.
What a
If I could
half-ass.
reach through the computer, I'd smack it.
Well, thanks. Anyway, thanks for breaking away from the baby for just an hour to talk.
That's fine. Mum and Bub were having a bit of a sleep, and I think it's getting close to feed time, so we probably ended it right at the right time.
Good. Are you exhausted yet?
There's been a couple of nights, but to be honest, it's going to sound horrible. I'm still getting quite a bit of sleep. Jess is struggling more than me, and it's not in terms of like I'm not contributing or anything. It's just when we brought him home, he was having bottle feeds as a top up, just because he wasn't getting enough from breastfeeding at the time. So we had a really good system worked out for like that first week where Jess would feed him like on the breast, and then I'd tag in straight away and do the bottle. So we were both feeding, on the same schedule and everything, but he's not taking bottle feeds anymore. So then we changed the schedule to be, well, okay, Jess will feed him and then I'll settle him. So Jess isn't doing everything. But now he's kind of like settling on the breast as well. So like I'm not.
Yeah, there's not much you can help
horrible,
with that.
But
yeah.
No.
Kind of out of your wheelhouse.
Jess has to wake up every 3 hours to feed him. I don't have as big a role as I did this time last week, but it is tiring work, but it's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Good. Happy for the both of you. Happy birthday to Jess, and tell our listeners where they can find you in case they haven't found you yet.
You can find me on Twitter at Loey007.
Sweet. I already told you where to find me, but thank you guys, as always, for joining us and for downloading the show. Please do subscribe so you never miss an episode. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And as Michael Keaton's Batman says, I want you to tell all your friends about me. And, again, stay tuned for the almost lost episode that I think will not be lost. So keep an eye out for that very soon, too. Visit holybatcast.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. And again, if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. So that'll do it. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same half-ass time, same half-ass channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.